Apes, together, strong. Feels like I'm throwing out gang signs. These apes are a bunch of cholos.
Remember them nights I was cold. Remember them nights I was sober. All of my life I was told.
War of the Planet of the Apes is the final chapter in the Rise Dawn War of the Planet of the Apes reboot series. Now this movie, when it first came out in 2011, the trilogy, when it first started, I was actually really excited because I remember watching the original movies as a kid because my father showed them to me. He was a huge fan when he was a kid, so he showed them to me when the new reboots came out. We want to forget about those, but when those movies came out, I actually fell in love with this entire concept because apes dominating the world and humans being used as pets or the secondary species on the planet. Something we can't conceive today because we literally dominate that entire planet like everything else. Our technology, we're so dependent on technology and everything could go to shit and animals could take over maybe. Now if you haven't seen any of the other two movies, War of the Planet of the Apes has an opening sequence that kind of summarizes the other two movies. So you could kind of watch this movie on its own and know what actually happened. I strongly recommend if you're going to watch this movie, you watch the first two because it just makes the movie experience a lot better. This entire franchise happens in the near future as they're trying to create an antidote for Alzheimer's. They're trying to cure Alzheimer's, but instead they create this virus that wipes out 99.9% of all human population, while at the same time giving intelligence to all these apes who are already bigger, faster, stronger than us humans. So you get the point. They kill most of us and now the apes have intelligence just like us, or they're getting to that point. So it becomes a Planet of the Apes. The advertising, or me going into this movie, I felt like this movie was going to be completely different. I expected it to be nothing but crazy war scenes between apes and humans and this entire chaos just happening. But this movie is actually a lot more dramatic and a lot less of a war film. One of my favorite parts of the entire movie, actually my favorite thing from the entire movie, was the direction that this movie was going, because it showed you, it didn't tell you what was happening, it didn't tell you what their emotions they were feeling. You got to see it through their facial expressions, and you felt through the score and the facial expressions at the same time what was happening in the scene, how the characters were feeling, because there's a lot of twists and a lot of those moments where you're like, oh man, I'm about to shed a tear, even though you're rooting for apes, because you're rooting for the apes, you're not rooting for the humans. The humans are the real animals. The apes are just trying to look out for each other, they're just trying to survive, but the humans are the brutal ones. So this movie, it kind of puts you in a dilemma because you're rooting for not your species, which, I mean, we are apes at the end of the day, so I don't know if we're rooting against ourselves or just an evolved version of ourselves, because evolution creates a better being than the one we have now. So maybe apes should rule this planet since we're kind of destroying it already. So oh well. War of the Planet of the Apes works because of their actors, because of the direction. And I know it's motion capture, but you have to give credit to these actors because you see all their expressions. That was my favorite part. Like this movie, there's a lot of dialogue that happens with sign languages and through their face. It shows you what you want to see. Now I'm going to talk about some of the things I didn't like about this movie, and one of those things is how Caesar he should have been killed a lot of times during this movie. I know Caesar is our main protagonist and he can't die. First half of this movie, they're looking for Caesar. This military people sending troops to their camp, they're trying to look for Caesar. They have been looking for Caesar for a while now, and when they finally encounter Caesar a couple of times when they could have just killed him off, because you know that you cut the head of the snake and everyone else, there's like a void of power. They would have just pretty much ended the entire revolt between the apes and the humans probably would have just, for plot reasons, they didn't kill Caesar a couple times, which was, I mean, I guess we're rooting for Caesar, but as a movie as a whole, it doesn't really make sense if they're trying to make this realistic. That's maybe the biggest problem I had with this movie. Maybe there was another character, this little girl that you've seen from the trailers. She was kind of a little pointless, although she kind of explains something in the movie that kind of ties into the 1968 movie that I want to talk to you at the end of this video. So overall, this movie is just visually amazing. This movie better be nominated. It should win Best Visual Effects. I mean, we haven't seen half of the movies that have come out, but I doubt any other movie has the visual effects, because I can't believe these people or these monkeys aren't actually monkeys or apes in this movie, because they look so realistic. And Andy Serkis again kills it. Woody Harrelson as a villain kills it in this movie. He delivers an incredible performance in all levels. He's seen like a bad guy and you understand his purpose, so he's not just a bad guy for being a bad guy. He has a purpose and he's trying to protect the human race by being a dick to the apes. And the score in this movie, it feels like the 1968 movie. It feels kind of old school. I mean, this entire movie just moves perfectly from scene to scene. There are some biblical elements when it comes to Caesar. Some moments in this movie feel like they're kind of taken from the Bible, Caesar seen as their savior. But this movie overall is just an amazing experience. It's something you gotta watch, especially if you've seen any of the previous movies, or if you haven't seen them, you just want to watch a good, heartfelt movie that's kind of disguised as a war film. You should definitely check this movie out. So I'm gonna give War of the Planet of the Apes a grade of an A. So this is gonna be a spoiler section. So if you're still watching this video, I'm about to talk spoilers. And if you don't want to get spoiled, just click away, subscribe to my channel, and then go watch another video. I don't know. The little girl, she had a disease that they talk about in the movie, where the same disease that killed 99% of all humans, now it's evolving and it's making humans lose their speech. Like, they're not able to speak anymore. They're becoming more like savages. And Woody Harrelson, of course, that's why he ends up killing or executing these soldiers and these people who are infected with this disease, or they're evolving into these savages. They're losing their speech. And this kind of ties into the 1968 movie, because in that movie, although it took place, I think it was like 2,000 years in the future, or 1,000 years in the future, when the astronauts arrived back on Earth, the humans in that movie couldn't speak. The humans in that movie were just savages. They were just pets. So this is definitely an open-ended ending that kind of ties into that movie. Or what do you guys think? You think this movie kind of ties into that? That's pretty cool. If it does, I mean, they kind of left it in a broad speculation for yourself, and I think that's what happened. I mean, in 1,000 years, all these apes are going to evolve. They're going to become more human-like, and the humans are going to become more ape-like, so that's kind of cool. Thank you guys for watching, guys. My name's Angel. You just watched my review for War of the Planet of the Apes, so thank you guys, and don't forget to hit me up. So overall, I'm going to give Spider-Man Homecoming a grade of an A.